lovers. Older women, Lord, they understand. Very patient.
I've been around some.
Now he's discovered that older women know just how to please a man.
Now everybody seems to
Not
want
everybody.
those younger women
From 18
and up to 25.
Oh my.
Well, I love them too,
But
but I'm telling you, learning how to really love takes a little time. Older women are beautiful lovers. Older women, Lord, they
understand and very patient.
I've been around some.
Now
I've
he's
discovered that older women know just how to treat a man.
Listen to this
So,
line.
baby, don't you worry
Why worry?
about growing old.
Only better,
Cause
baby.
those young girls got nothing on you.
You finally learned. It took some living. Now I'm good at giving. And giving love is just where I could teach her a thing or two.
Older women are beautiful lovers. Older women, Lord,
I understand.
Oh, yeah.
Mwah.
This is Audrey Gordon for Sunrise Sunset, and you've just seen members of the troupe of Acting Up of the Community Services of Oakton Community College, who are here today with their artistic director, Carol Verson, who will tell us about their interesting troupe, made up of older women and older men. This is Dr. Harry Green, and this is Belle Green,
Right?
and this is Carol Verson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was delightful. Who wrote that?
I don't know.
It's a country western
Country
song.
western.
And
I don't know the composer, but
Actually, most of our music is original, but that's the one we borrowed from somebody else. But the most of the music and the material that we make up is our own material based on some of the myths and stereotypes of aging. And that really deals with the myth of aging.
Absolutely.
That, you know, when you get older, you're not as good, and we're saying older women are beautiful lovers.
and lots
but
of
also says that
experience.
older women are patient with older men. Is that what you said?
That's exactly right.
She added that. That was
That's my interpretation of the song.
Well, but it's a good one, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we have a lot of fun creating our own material, and really we base it on the experiences that people have. And we figure that when you've lived 65 years and more, you have a lot of life experience that you can share with other people. And of course, we have a humorous angle to everything. We see the humor in everything. Belle and Harry, maybe you can talk about how you got into the group. And
Well, why don't I let you start, dear?
Well,
Because he's older, right?
no, that's not fair. But I am
It is
older.
true.
No, it so happened I tried retiring from dentistry, and I went to a hospital to try and volunteer, but they wouldn't let me do anything. I don't know, according to their insurance, they had senior students there and residents, and I knew more than they did. And I just got disgusted and I left. And I went to see a friend of mine, happened to see her, a psychologist. And I said to her, I don't know why I should retire. I've got 10 good hands. She says to me, Harry, do you know what you said? I says, no, you didn't say 10 good fingers. You said you've got 10 good hands. You get back into dentistry. So now I practice dentistry 3.5 days a week. And my wife, Belle, has been my assistant for over 33 years.
When Acting Up doesn't...
And next month, I will be 74 years young.
But they have discovered all kinds of creative potential within them, not only the singing, but maybe Belle can share some of the things that she's been doing. I call her my artist in residence.
Well, we needed some masks, and so I sat down and created some masks. When Carol needs something done, she usually calls me first, and if I can, I do, and usually I can.
And the costumes,
Oh,
she
the
did
costumes,
costumes for
right.
us. And right now we're doing an intergenerational program. And I'm the storyteller, and I'm telling the story of Hercules and the 12 labors. So I needed some props to use for a creative drama thing that we're going to do with it. So I said, Belle,
Since
You
you had
wanna
no
be-
one to call, you know, she had
you want
Belle.
to be creative again? And I gave her a number of props to use or to create, and she came up with all kinds of great ideas.
I'm curious about the one you created for the Aegean Stables.
You know what it is? We couldn't bring in a water hose or anything, so we're using a water pistol.
Carol, where did this idea come from? This is a troop of citizens who are advanced and experienced in years. This was somewhat of your
That
idea,
was
wasn't
so
it?
nicely put.
Yeah. Well, really, I did not start the group. This group was created at Oakton Community College and by another gal named Marcy Tellender. She started the group, actually. And then they needed another director at the time. The group was really beginning to take off. It started as a creative arts group, and nobody quite knew which arts they were going to do. They just wanted to experiment, have fun. They started writing material, sharing life experiences and stories, and realized they had something wonderful. So I happened to be in the right place at the right time and took over the direction of the group, and I've been with the group the last 5-6 years. And since I've been with the group, we've branched out into all kinds of things. We've been at national conventions for the Theater Association. We were in Topeka, Kansas last year at an In Praise of Age conference, and we met Claude Pepper, right? And this year we're going, not as far, we're going to Milwaukee.
Yeah, but you left out one man, Dr. Menninger was there.
Oh, yes,
Carl
Dr.
Menninger.
Carl
Carl
Menninger,
Menninger, yeah.
right, at my table. And so the group has really taken off. We're also doing a really fascinating program, which Belle and Harry are involved in, an intergenerational program at 4 different schools in the Oakton Community College District. And we're doing all kinds of creative activities with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and older adults. And to me, it's been very exciting.
Oh, it's very
How-
exciting.
How is it for you?
Well, all I know is it's Wednesday again, and the month is gone. It's every month, 4 times a month, and it's gone.
The students in the school are cooperating theatrically with you.
Right.
They're in plays or improvs or...
Well, or creative activities, such as last time we did some nonverbal communication exercises where we looked at each other's hands and we compared the old hands and the young hands, or we did a mirror exercise. A lot of these are acting exercises, but we do them with the young and the old, and it's been kind of exciting.
How large is the troop?
Our troop is now 12 people, I think.
But you know what's interesting? Well, they'll come up to us and say, "You're not like my grandfather." Or they'll come up to Belle and they'll say, "My grandmother is not like you."
Or, Harry, you have such old hands.
And they're so rough.
But you know what's
That's part of the
interesting is that the fact that we do get out to groups of all ages. We perform and do workshops with kids, very young kids. We perform with older kids in high school and college groups. And we also do workshops for other senior centers to show them how we do what we do. And we've adapted a lot of the theater games and the regular theatrical activities for older adults, because older adults have some special talents and some special needs and some special ways of doing things, and that's what we try to adapt.
What are some of the special needs that they have?
Well, one is the need not to memorize a prepared script.
Okay.
Because despite all the myths to the contrary, we do have some problems with memorization. So we create our own material and we improvise a lot of it. And when it comes out in that fashion, it just seems it's a lot easier to hold on to. And also a lot more humor and a lot more, if it's your own life you're talking about, you connect to it better.
What
Yeah.
Carol meant to say, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I know it happened 25 years ago. That's what she's
And
trying
of course, I think our group has taken off because of our director.
That's right.
That's a ball of fire that's sitting there.
Oh, boy.
This is probably the first time she sat still in how many days?
Well,
Really.
yeah.
She's on the go.
But it's very exciting to see what's happening because a lot of people are calling us. We've had articles in Aging Magazine, and we were just a little squib in Modern Maturity recently, and people are calling from all over the country to want to learn how to do what we do. This is becoming an activity. People are realizing that older people don't want to just sit around and play cards. They want to use the creativity. They want to tap the creativity that's within, really, I believe, everybody. And sometimes when you're busy working, as you have been for these many years, almost 50 years, isn't it?
Oh,
It is 50
starting my
years.
51st year as a dentist.
And it's time to be creative.
Well, I'm curious, some people might think that the people in your troupe perhaps had a continual acting interest. Is this new for you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Never did it before.
Harry and I have always sung in our home. And when we had children, it was a quartet, and when they got married, it became a duo again.
But
and we've
you have
always
never
done this.
done professional theater or
Well, but
been
we
in
don't
theater.
really call this professional either. I mean, we're called upon to do it, but I don't think it's professional. I think if we felt that it was professional, we might not be able to do it. This is enjoyment. We enjoy coming out and sharing.
Well, it's not, you're not slick, seasoned professionals, but what we're doing is creating possibly a new genre of theater. It's not a slick professional show. On the other hand, I don't think it's real slapdash either.
Oh, no.
Well, I know you well enough to know that it couldn't be slapdash.
That's it. The ball of fire would not allow
I mean,
that.
you're professional at what you do, which is something different than the normal theatrical kind of presentation, let's
Well,
say.
you know what amazed me the most, Audrey? My wife, Belle. Never made a mask in her life and has such creative talent. I'm just saying, I'm not doing that to praise her. I'm just saying it's amazing what comes out of me and the rest of us in the cast of our group. Never dreamed that they could do a thing like that.
You're going to fall in love with her all over again.
I've never been out of love with her.
Are there other husband-wife combinations in the
No.
No,
troupe?
not
actually,
unfortunately not.
They are unique. But I have had a number of calls lately from, we could use a few more men. We're kind of skewed a little more.
Well, I was going to ask you, how big do you think your troupe could get if, as a result of the show, people called and wanted to join you?
Well, what I'm thinking about doing is, because I have a number of people that have called recently because of all the publicity and so on, I'm thinking of starting like an A troupe and a B troupe. In other words, these are the experienced ones, and then I would start a brand new troupe as an offshoot of the older troupe. I'm not sure it depends how many people are interested, how many people really want to do this kind of thing, so that in a sense that we could create a climate for other people to become involved in it too, in their own way.
May I just go back to one thing? Harry is a dentist, as you know, and I've been at the office with him, and I have the habit of showing the pictures of the masks. And one of our patients said, "Oh, isn't it too bad that it's so late in life?" And I said, "Are you crazy? I have something new to go forward with." And she said, "I never thought of that."
I was about to ask you, what would you say to somebody in terms of saying, come and
sorry.
do this, but you just did it.
I'm
No,
sorry.
that's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's true. Don't apologize. That's terrific. What other kinds of benefits do you see, perhaps from your fellow troopers, or even kind of relationships that you've made that are
Well,
new?
I tell you, Audrey, we've become sort of a close-knit family. We're interested in each other. If someone doesn't feel well, we call, we'll find out how they are, and we're concerned about them. It's like a family now.
One of a choice.
A family of choice?
Right.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
just like, I would say it's an intimate group, unintimately. We don't pry in anybody's personal affairs or anything like that, but if someone needs help from us and we can give it, we give it.
It's a support group,
This is-
really.
That's right.
It is in that sense, and we had since we are older people, we have had over the past.
I like
We are
like the
older.
generic we here.
I always include myself because growing older is something we all do every day,
Absolutely.
and I'm doing it too.
Absolutely.
But we did have a couple of people who passed away while we were performing. Not in performance, I don't mean, but
Not on the stage,
no,
is what
no.
you said.
And what happened was a very touching thing. One woman had cancer, and she was in a nursing home, and it had become a brain tumor, and she could not really talk. And so I wanted to do something for her before she passed away, which we knew was imminent. So we all went in, about 5 of us went in and sang old songs with her, just the oldies, you know. And she wasn't able to talk, but she began to tap whatever it was in her brain that we touched off. And she sang with us and sang all these old songs, you know. And that was about a day or so before she passed away. So that was our way of being connected, you know, that bonding. I think we've created some strong bonds with each other.
Someone watching might say, but I can't sing. You sang, you know, with your children and your family, and I don't think I'd be a very good actor. What qualifications are there any?
All you have to have is life experience, right?
That's right.
And everybody has that, and everybody has great stories to tell. As a
I was
matter
going
of
to
fact,
say, aren't there some stories here that were published?
This is a book that we put together at Oakton Community College called Writing Down. And these are some oral histories and memory sharing that people have put together. And perhaps I can ask Belle and Harry to read a couple of stories
love to
from
hear
it.
the
One of them is, well, Belle, why don't you start with yours? This is a very personal story for Belle, and it's based on her own life experience, and I think it's very moving.
And it's called My Mother's Pockets. I am a gourmet cook, and everyone loves to come to my house for dinner. I'm sure the love of cooking and sharing was learned at my mother's knee. I was born the last member of our family, number 11 in line. I had 5 sisters and 5 brothers. My earliest recollection of an important happening in our family was the marriage of my elder sister, Rose. I was almost 3 at the time. Because I was the baby and always went everywhere with my mom and papa, I couldn't understand why I was not allowed to go to the wedding. And I cried, but I was told by my mama to shh, which means to be quiet. That incident left an unhappy feeling, but I was always with my mama, and the memory faded. It seems that quite a lot of time was spent in the kitchen, watching my mother prepare what seemed to be mountains of food. It never seemed to be a chore because she either sang or hummed as the pots were boiling, or the challah was raising, and the aromas were varied. Sometimes when she was busy, I would feel the need of her attention, and I would say to her, "Hug me a little bittle." And even if she were up to her elbows in flour, she would pick me up and give me a hard squeeze. My older sister, Carrie, had been the baby for 2.5 years until I came along, and I'm sure was feeling displaced. She would taunt me with such remarks as, "We almost didn't keep you because you looked like an Indian when you were born," or, "You don't belong to us because when you were born, they changed babies in the hospital." I thought looking like an Indian was awful. But Carrie also told me that because the doctor feared my mother might die in childbirth when I was born, I was delivered in that hospital, but not necessarily to that mother. Later, she said to me, "Mama loves me more than she loves you." Finally, one day when I was about 5 and once again asked my mama to hug me a little bittle, she picked me up in her arms. As she was holding me, I said, "Carrie said that you love her more than you love me." Her answer, that I now know to be very profound, was, "I have 11 pockets in my heart. She can't get into yours, and you can't get into hers."
I love that story.
That's a beautiful story. Carrie, can you read yours?
Yeah, well,
Are you okay?
we marveled at inventions. I like this because I happen to be an inventor. I have a vivid memory of my first view of an airplane. I was about 3 years old. The year was 1918, the end of World War I. I felt so small. The sky was so high. The air was so clear. I knew the word airplane. It had 4 wings of the early models. I watched it sail through the sky for a long time until I heard only the sound. As the appearance of these early models became more frequent in the sky, we children would shout and squeal to another, "There's an airplane! There's an airplane!" Then, wonderment of wonderment, came the sky riders with their messages and trail of words disappearing into smoke as it melted into the high sky. I, was always mesmerized and fascinated at the sight of these crafts. As I began to read fairy tales, my favorite story was about a magic flying machine. In my wildest imagination, I never thought that I would live to see the day when my fairy tale would emerge as a reality, that I could call on the phone for a ticket and be up in the sky in a flying machine of my very own. I can't subdue my sense of fright as we take off into the atmosphere. My excitement clashes with my fear, my doubt, my ignorance, my incomprehensibility. In a recurring dream, I am flying through the sky over tall buildings, observing huge bodies of water below. I feel safe and frightened at the same time, but I always land safely because I can control my movements. I never take for granted the takeoff and the landing of an airplane. In the sky, I am engulfed with a feeling of unreality. Why is my favorite tune from the song Summertime? One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. Airplanes, rocket missiles, space flight will never leave me without wonder.
Those are both wonderful stories, and the book is full of all kinds of oral histories from all the members of your troupe.
Right, sometimes we take these stories and then kind of enact them on stage. And so we use this as the raw material for some of our performances. And those are the life experiences that we actually put on stage.
Do you do a formal play, one that has, say, a half hour in length, or are all of the things you do short?
They're short. For example, we have a part of the show that the young part of me, and each one says something about what part of them is young. So they're kind of blackout skits. We do a whole section on myths, the myths of aging, and we try and dispel those myths. Like old age means senility, or old age is an illness. Or we have Harry come out as Richard Simus instead of Richard Simus. And we do exercises for the older people, and he starts off like this: one, two, three, and 4. And he says, "You're not tiring yourself out, are you?" So little spoofs, really. And then we have another great one that everybody loves called Senior Secrets. And because this is a youth culture, we go the opposite direction, and we say that in the near future it's going to it's going to be very chic to look like a senior citizen. So we sell beauty aids to make you look older, like the Flabby Abbey arm pack that you can wear with your evening gown to give you that swinging, quivering illusion of lost muscle tone. So I attended a lecture one time, Maggie Kuhn, and she said, well, why can't we, arrive at the day when it's going to be in and chic to have a few wrinkles? Let's have some paste-on wrinkles, some paste-on liver spots. We have glow-in-the-dark liver spots.
How about the varicose veins with the special pencil?
A special pencil to draw on your own varicose veins. Now, some people might say, well, we don't want to think about that. Those are things that are happening, and we don't like those things. But after all, they happen to all of us. And isn't it better to be able to have a sense of humor and laugh at it?
One has to laugh at oneself, or life gets pretty dire.
And so that's our attitude, is to take some of the things that we know about aging, and which may be facts or myths, and play with the facts a little bit, add some humor to that, and dispel some of the myths.
I want to know the receptions that you get in terms of audiences that are younger as opposed to audiences that are older. Are they different?
Yes, because when we come and we go before younger people and they look up at us, and we always say...
You're hard to look up at it because...
Well, we're on the stage and they're down below. But I always say to them, someday you'll be like we are if you're around.
But they also enjoy it because
they
figure that you're going to drive on the wrong side of the street, or you're only going to go 20 miles an hour, or you're going to be grouchy. And so when they see our group, they realize that, now they've put a name to something and it's not really true. So they have to go on.
What about older audiences?
Well, one of the nicest things, and Belle can explain it better than I can, when we go into a nursing home.
That was a real hassle for me because 2 years ago I almost ended up in one. And so when Carol said, we really need to go, and I said, well, you go and I'll stay home. And then I decided if I belong to the group, I better do everything that she asks of us. And when you go in there, you see all of these awful things, but then you see there's a light in some of the faces. And when we sing and we carry on, they join right in with us. So we feel like we've done something.
Yeah, it's too bad. I was remarking to somebody the other day that they don't have more activities like this, because even if you're infirm, there are stories you can tell, and there are activities that we do that they could do, even in various infirm states.
If someone watching wanted to contact the troupe in terms of coming out to do that sort of thing, is that part of the community services that you're available
for? Absolutely. We perform for all kinds of groups, and certainly nursing homes are one of the kinds of groups we perform for.
Is there a fee for your services?
Yes, there is a fee, and the fee depends upon how far we have to go and if you're in the district or if you're outside of our community college district. We do travel outside of the district. We just need to charge a little bit more for our time. So in that sense, we are professional.
Well, actually, Carol, it's not the time. It's to pay for the cost of the bus and the driver.
Right.
Primarily.
But
the people of the troupe are volunteers. I think we ought to make that
clear. We get a big salary.
A lot of joy.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's.
Well, I also want to point out that I have co-authored another book called Acting Up. And this is for people who want to start a troupe like this, because these are not, as you pointed out earlier, these are not special actor type people. These are ordinary people who found this later in life, this kind of activity, are loving it. And so we have written a book. I and the past 2 directors of the group have written this book. It's a how-to book, really. How to start a group like Acting Up, some of our own experiences and exercises for creating a performance, and then actual ideas from our performance itself, so that people can use, we have a few little scripts in here and some of our old scripts and some of our poetry, etc. So I would just like to tell people, anybody interested in starting a group like this, that we have some expertise.
Well, can you talk about the...
Well, what I'm going to do is going to tell people where to contact Carol, and I know that you're going to do another little song, so I'm going to thank you now for coming and sharing with us all of the wonderful things that you're doing. And Carol, why don't you then tell people not only where they can get the book, but where, if they're interested, they can contact you to join Acting Up, which is a community service of Oakton Community College.
Right. Well, they can either write to Oakton Community College, which is 1600 East Gulf Road, Des Plaines, Illinois, and that's a community services department. And then if they want to, they can call 635-1411, and that is the community services number. So we will be glad to answer any questions or help people out who want to start a group like this or anything like that.
Oh, I'd love to hear this last song. I know it's going to be
This
just
song
as
is
good.
written, words and music, by a member of our cast, Burdell Provis. She is fantastic. Oh, the rest of your life can be the best of your life if you reach out for something new. Don't be timid or shy, don't let time pass you by. What would you like to do?
Paint a picture, write a book, play the violin.
Start all over at the end, here's where you begin. Oh, it's never too late for you to learn some new tricks, as long as your heart is young. If you're willing to try, you can fly pretty high. Don't let your song go unsung. Bring your fantasies alive, who's to tell you no? Hang on tightly to your kite, don't you let it go. So you've always been good and everything that you should, and the kids have left the nest. Now it's your turn to sing a la Donna Mobile, or do any old thing, soft shoe or old burlesque. Have a fling while you're still here, be what you want to be. You'll have fun, and that, my friends, that I guarantee. So the rest of your life can be the best of your life if you reach out for something new, that's right. If you reach out for something new.